Hey, in this video I'll be going over the ultra kill weapon, the Revolver, in gratuitous depth. Anyway, let's begin. First off, I'd like to apologize for the poor mic quality. I don't know what's going on, but CapCut isn't picking up my better mic, so there's that whole debacle going on. But yeah. Anyway, the Revolver is a very simple weapon, being the first of many you collect in ULTRAKILL. Its variants, however, are less straightforward, but we'll start off with the basics. The Piercer is the default variant of the Revolver, and is by far the most simplistic weapon in even just all of ULTRAKILL. The left mouse button deals what is essentially just a small peck of damage, so weak it doesn't even kill strays quickly if you aim in the wrong places. The right mouse button, however... yeah, it's not a whole lot stronger. It can pierce through enemies though, as the name would suggest. Sadly, not much past a filth. But that's all for the Piercer. The Marksman is easily the most in-depth variant of the Revolver, meaning this segment will be longer than any other. Don't worry, it'll still be relatively succinct, but you're gonna see a little insanity in the later portions of it. The Marksman has the same left-click function as both of the other Revolver variants, but with the right-click, you can toss a coin. When you shoot that coin, it'll redirect the bullet to a target that at a higher damage. The more coins, the more damage. You can toss up to 4, but if you do that all at once, you'll need to wait for the recharge timer. You can throw them rapidly, but again, recharge timer. But if you use your coins well, the recharge isn't going to be a problem. There is this one fun thing though that ups the usefulness of the coins. After a certain distance of travel, the coins will do a little shine thing. If you shoot it at the same time it does that, the bullet will split off and hit 2 targets instead of just 1. If you shoot it after, though, the coin redirection will be normal. However, if the coin travels even further than that, it'll go back to being a split shot, for as far as it ends up being. This means that with numerous faraway coins, you could hit a series of targets, whether it be 4, 8, or even just a gigantic row of straight pointers. You can also pair coins with the other 2 Revolver's alt-fire modes. There is also one huge fucking thing about this variant of the Revolver that kind of makes it a must-have for every loadout. Put simply, you can punch your coins. You can fucking long-distance, same-day deliver oblivion to the doorstep of any husk who dare set their sights on you. You could parry from across the goddamn field. You can pair this Bluetooth murder with all other coin-centric war crimes you can commit with this gun. You can punch the coin and then shoot it. You can punch the coin and then shoot it with a cooler gun. You can punch the coin, flip out a second coin, and shoot that one. You can even punch the coin twice, flip out your second gun, and then shoot that one. You want to kill V2 before he even finishes being a pretentious jackass? Find a coin and punch it 5 times. Point is, I'm getting my money's worth out of this gun. If I have to plus fistful of dollar my opponents to death, you better fucking believe I will. What was I saying? Whatever. Anyway, after that giant deluge of information, we can finally move on to the third variant. The Sharpshooter is a simple gun. It doesn't need coins or complex mechanics to work. All it knows how to do is bounce from one surface to another. That does not take away from its usefulness though. Like its predecessors, its primary fire is the same as all the rest. However, holding down its alt fire causes you to spin the gun around in your finger. When you release, it'll shoot a slightly stronger bullet that bounces off of walls and pierces through enemies. On the display of the Revolver is 3 bars. One will empty upon firing your ricochet bullet. These take longer to refill than the coins do. And you might be thinking, oh, it's a gun that shoots ricochet bullets, how could this be useful? But I think you're missing the very simple fact that it can bounce between the same 2 surfaces several times. And when there's an enemy between those 2 surfaces, there is no species nor origin, vested rank, or holy status that will save the life of whatever's in that bullet's path. Not to mention its secondary function. that when met with a projectile, the ricochet bullet causes a violent explosion, effectively putting both you and whatever shot you in danger. This is a fantastic and frankly spectacular way to deal with enemies like the malicious face, or even just a flashy way to deal with mind flare projectiles. But that's basically it for the revolver. However,
the slab revolver.
the slab revolver is the alternative to the normal revolver, accessible by going to the Weapons tab on any terminal, selecting the revolver, and changing anything from equipped to alternate. As for the piercer variant in particular, it's basically the same as the normal piercer, except it fires slower, and is also more than double the strength of the regular revolver, and has more actual piercing power. Because, if you'll recall, the original piercer couldn't even make it through more than one stray. This one, well, see for yourself. The slab marksman is honestly a bit of a dead weight in my opinion. It fires at like 1 mile an hour, and it can't even split shot. What it does in place of that, though, is the redirected bullet will pierce through its target enemy, which is something I found out as I was writing the script, trying to prove that nothing happened when you tried to split shot with the slab revolver. As for the slab sharpshooter, this gun is everything the regular sharpshooter wishes it was. The slower primary fire rate is nothing, because the alt fire is Hell's very own fury channeled into a weapon. It is immediately able to mince any malicious face you release this thing under. It's a pretty huge deal for any 2 server I formatted in a straight line, which is something that happens more times than you think. The only drawback to the slab sharpshooter is that you can only shoot 1 ricochet bullet as opposed to the 3 you could shoot with a regular sharpshooter. That is, however, less of a detriment than you'd think. Anyway, I've yapped enough about the revolver and ULTRAKILL. I don't know how to naturally segue into the outro, so I'm just gonna, thank you for coming to my TED Talk, bye!